talking during the movie. Who you go first because I've got I had to go on to like an additional page here for this one.
I did that as well. You like what I did with my little us versus us thing there, kind of trying to put it. Yes. One of the first things I want to start with this is of course Jordan Peele, who gave us Get Out. But one of the things that I learned and I didn't recognize the first 10 times I saw this movie was Monkey Paw Productions. And so what we learned is it's not just Monkey Paw, which is ironic to me. I find that very funny. But like I got my hand on everything that's going on. You notice that the Monkey Paw is spinning the teacup from Get Out. That's his animated logo. That was amazing to me.
Very cool.
Yes.
So I told you I cut my hair today. I do it myself at home, and there was an interesting parallel between what happened with cutting my hair and doing this episode today. So I cut my hair outside, and there's this like big mirror. The frame broke off of it, so it's just kind of like it has the exposed like glass kind of rough and sharp on the edges, and I moved the mirror over to where the chairs are and the extension cord. I plugged my shit up and I cut my hair. So today I moved the mirror over. I sat it up where I usually put it, and it fell over and it sliced my. I don't want to say slice. I don't want to be over dramatic, but it hurts a little bit. It cut me. It left a mark on me. It fell, and as I was trying to catch it, it cut my arm up. And I just afterwards I thought, how ironic. We were doing Us today, where the tethered version like attacks you from a mirror world, and you know it was ironically
ironic.
Appropriate. Yeah.
I just hope it wasn't 11 a.m. when that happened.
Yeah.
That's very ironic. One of the things I want to go.
Yeah, it was probably about that time.
I can't trust anything you're saying right now. With that being said, there, one of the things that, of course, we first noticed, okay, and again, to me, I love when scenes, like, there's a reason why the phrase draw you in means something with a camera angle, somebody crawling in on the scene. And so when we first start the film, well, not when we first started, but when we first meet the modernized world, one of the things we see as it's drawing in on that TV, talking about they say certain lines like American can tether together, which is even hearing that, you can tell it's movie placement, but at the same time, it's meant to psychologically play on you. But the one thing I noticed, off in the cut, things always happen for a reason, and I don't know whether it's the set designer or whether it's Jordan Peele, but one of the things I noticed was in the little, as the TV's there, it has little things around it. One of the things you see is a Rubik's Cube, and it's not done, and it freaks me out. I'm like, they're letting you know from the beginning, as we're drawing you in, you're going to have to figure it out. It's not, it's meant to play the Rubik's Cube, but just when you think you got it, you don't, and we'll talk about that later with this film.
And on that same scene, that opening scene, it's so perfect to let you know what you're in for with this movie. So that same shot that you're talking about where the Hands Across America is on TV, which of course plays into the end, but yeah, it's all about what's happening around the television. So like on the left side you have, and I've never seen the movie so I don't know how to pronounce it, it's either Chud or Chud. I'm gonna call it Chud just because it's less syllables. So on the left you have Chud and the Goonies. These are two movies that are about creatures underground, adventures underground.
Sloth.
Yeah, so that's on the left side, and to the right you have The Right Stuff, which is, of course that's above ground. So that was an interesting thing, and then the film on the right, also seen on around the movie around the television is The Man with Two Brains, which is another foreboding detail to the plot. And fun fact about the Chud VHS, that particular VHS version of the movie was not released until 1993. That scene takes place in 1986. So that's
Is it a fun fact? I'm pretty sure the editor is not liking you right now.
Hey, get it right next time, and I won't have to. One more about that. And this isn't called. This is actually this was a great plug like that they put in there. Like this movie's so full like subtle.
Oh, everywhere.
Like
everywhere.
It's completely immersing you every scene. But the Goonies. Sitting next to the television when they're eating the takeout when they first get to where they're staying out there, the family's eating from a place called Copper Pots, which is a nod to Chester.
David Copperpot.
Chester Copperpot.
Copperpot. Oh wow, I didn't. Oh wow, awesome. Hey, There you go, brother. Now you're deep diving. That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome. One of the things that really got me is really the beginning. And like I say, you have to set up a film from the beginning. And from the beginning, what we see is, and it's funny, we didn't discuss this, but clearly I'm just how our brains work. I'm paying attention to one side of something, but we did not know we were going to discuss that. But one of the things I want to talk about was when we first started. A couple of different things for me. It was number one when you look at the rabbit reference. To me, when it took me back to the film Prestige. In the film Prestige, they talk about when people are trying to imitate clones and create copies of something. For some reason, rabbits have always been used. And not to go too much into what I'm going to talk about later, but that's what made the opening scene so dope to me, because when we finally see young Lupita's character in the film, when they're zooming in on her eye, it flips back to the rabbit, and then that's when the opening part comes out. It's letting you know that all these rabbits have been experimented on, and then they talk about later in the film like they just left us. And to me, that's what I want to mention. If you don't, this is really one of the few films where if you don't see the first 10 seconds, you have no idea what's going on. They set up the world that you're living in, that all these, for some reasons, which has been proven, they're underground. That was the Underground Railroad reference. There's these underground tunnels, these shafts, there's no explanation for them. Clearly they were manned at one time. And so it almost makes me go back and think, wow, all our life we've been taught to look, oh, there's a UFO there. One of us wondering what's going on up there. No, what's going on down there?
Yeah. And the movie is so full of like little details that give you hints or clues about what's going on or what it's really about. 1111 is of course something that comes up time and time again, which I'll get into more in the big facts section. But another little detail that I noticed was in the toy closet in their house, you could see Guess Who. And what is the object of Guess Who? You get a card, and the object is to match the identical face to that card on the thing. So that was and there's so many other little things, and a lot of them we'll get into in big facts. But
one of the other things I notice is, like, I love when a director does his Easter eggs, and I love sometimes. I feel like I've known so much about film that I can sometimes make a reference to something that maybe even the director didn't know that he was doing subconsciously. And so one of the things that stood out for me was Jordan Peele clearly did Get Out, and I know we're talking about Us, but the beach scene at the beginning between the two moms. She's the Caucasian mom says something to the effect of like, "Oh, I got a little work done, just a little bit every year. They don't really know." And she's like, "But not like you have to worry about that." Almost a little black doesn't crack reference, and it's almost like it's a little subtle hint that that's exactly what happened in Get Out. Like, they loved us for our skin. And her brother, "Oh, dude, you be a beast with your genetics." She's like, "Oh, you ain't got." So it's that little envy, like, "Yeah, I got to get work done, but you ain't got to work." So it's a little subtle reference to me right there.
Yeah. That.
I gotta get mom her medicine.
And that whole, I think more so what the relationship with their friends versus them, what I took from it was this, like, the classism.
Oh,
like, like it's all about. They were competing with each other. Like, right. You didn't. I knew you'd forget the flare gun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you got the boat, but that's not good enough. You didn't get the flare gun. And look at the new car. He got that new car just to with me. And she's like, clearly it's working.
Right. Are you sure you're okay? Are you sure you're okay? Yep. Yes. As you sit there and drink your medicine, I'm fine. You don't want anything to drink? No, wino. I don't want anything to drink. Well, another one of the things that I want to mention here is that that one thing that cannot be dismissed is that clearly he went overboard. And only movie fans like us will see that he clearly went overboard. But to the regular moviegoer, you didn't see it. Every T-shirt almost worn in that film meant something to the Caucasian twins. One of them having a shirt that said Black Flag. Winston Duke's character
was like 1111.
Yeah, right. So you're going to bring that up later. You did mention that Winston Duke had on the Howard University shirt, you know, and it's just so much the Jaws shirt about going to the beach. So clearly, that's what I wanted to bring up real quick. And I would be mad if I didn't say it. Notice the first, and I don't know if you caught this, but hopefully this is, look in the camera so I can see if you're really mind blown. Don't look at me, just listen. In the beginning, her dad, who I'm going to talk about later, or you were going down, Dad, got her a Thriller shirt. What was important to me about that was the Thriller video is a dual version of himself. It's the monster within him.
Yep.
Okay, all right, I believe you.
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I have. There's something about that in the big facts that I'll elaborate on more.
Okay.
Like the red theme, the one glove.
Oh yeah. There
Yeah.
you go. All right, there you go.
So yeah, there's and so I have there's I know that we're usually talking during the movie, but there's so much like facts to dig into in the big facts section, and then there's even in the things that I want to change about this movie, kind of it's more so frustration with a lot of questions that the ending exposition leaves me
You
with.
do it again. You
Hey,
yourself
if
every
you're- if
time.
you're-
This is the second time you've done this. You tell us that now you want it wrapped up, but when in rounders, when they wrapped it up, they didn't leave you with questions. You had
All
questions.
right,
Make up your
when
mind.
we get to that point, just you can let me know if I'm wrong for asking these
all right,
questions.
okay, all right.
All right, so I have one theory that, and I have a lot of theories about this, but one that I want to get into now, which we kind of got into during the interview with Lon, is I noticed that they only seem to kill their own doppelgangers. And I thought that was blown out of the water until we talked to Lon, because I thought that his character may have died by the hands of the daughter's doppelganger. But as we find out in the interview, spoiler alert for the interview, he does not die. His character doesn't die. So my theory holds strong that, like, if you think about the Wilsons died at the hands of the Wilsons, the same for the Tylers. Even though both of them had the opportunities at different occasions in the movie to take out the other doppelgangers, they may toy with them, they may stick a pair of scissors in their leg or something like that, but they never actually off them.
I think that's done for two reasons. Number one, it when you think about at the beginning of the movie when Lupita character meets Lupita, notice that first thing she has herself do is tether herself to the table in front of her family, so she tethers herself. Then after she sends everybody on their own mission, which lends to your point, what she does is the normal, as you will, Lupita asks her, "Why are you doing this? What do you want?" And then the tethered version of Lupita's character at this point pushes her face down and makes her look at herself in that mirror of the table. And she's like, it has to be slow. She has to make her feel it the same way she has been saying she's feeling these things. And so he's been working on this character so much, and that was very good. Also, to like I say really quick before we leave this, is what makes you, I do agree with you, is when the mom from the beach clearly has a chance to kill Lupita's character. She's sitting there right there. She has it and she won't do it. Like, they'll play with them, but it's almost, I believe the tethered Lupita ordered all of them because she said he looked up to her as a god, almost like in the Philippines. She says she looked up to him. So her instruction may have been, the truest joy is you killing your own tethered person. So don't take that from anybody.
Yeah.
They've already taken so much from us. I would have loved to see that speech. And last but not least, really quick before we get off of this, just to blow your
I got one more thing too.
all right, well, let me blow your mind, and he has one more thing. If you notice, the only one of the tethered, which was a key indicator that was able to speak, was Lupita. The only one, there was a reason for that, which we'll discuss later, but what's funny to me is that Winston Duke's character did his own M'Baku call to himself. It's like, oh,
when he's out on the boat getting frustrated.
all right, we're right back in Wakanda like it's
He's an
nobody's
honorable
business.
mention for sure.
Go ahead, sir.
So, like, watching this movie after watching the movie, and spoiler alert, red is Adelaide, Adelaide is red. So there's that's kind of the twist at the end. So once you watch it and you see that and you go back and watch it again, there's just things that you notice where they're letting you know the entire movie that red is actually, or that Adelaide is actually red. You see her, like, when they're playing I Got Five on It in the car, she's telling Jason to get on beat. She's snapping off beat. Like, she can't even keep the rhythm. She tells Elizabeth Moss's character that she has trouble talking. She's only seen drinking water. She's never seen eating or drinking anything, with the exception of when they're eating the fast food at the table. She's like, it's always red, a strawberry. It looks
Like
kind
a
of
red
bloody,
beet, like a rabbit.
or a candy apple, like in the very beginning. So there's
another
that.
movie they did that. We had filmed that movie Kill. We saw that, and that they
Oh,
kind of
that will make an appearance in this episode.
Oh, go figure.
She's and then when she's killing one of the twins, she kills the twin with the scissors, which I thought was telling. And then even when Jason comes in, her son, and sees her, like he like it's almost like he caught her in her true spirit, and she was kind of panting like, what?
You don't get to do that. That's my big finale.
Okay.
You can't come over before. I think
All right,
you've been looking at my
I'll move
notebook.
on. Let's just
Yeah, let's move. All right, we're moving on, guys.
find us in all these links. It's coming up right now.
That's the trailer.